Hello, everyone. Welcome to the latest episode of the CFL Weekly Show. It is Shane. Alongside, we have Cole. There will be no Coach Phil today, and Blake is just running a little bit late. He will be joining us a little bit later on in today's show. Hope you guys all had a great Week 11 experience. You enjoyed Week 11. Um, but before we get into the Week 11 recap and the Week 12 preview, it's a busy weekend ahead for for Canadian football. U Sports is back in action after opening up preseason action last weekend. The season kicks off Friday night, with St. Mary's hosting Acadia at 7 p.m. Atlantic time, and then you have McGill hosting Sherbrooke uh, at 7 p.m. Eastern time on Friday night. So U Sports is up and running this weekend. CGFL is in full swing. We'll go into that a little bit later. And obviously the CFL, we're heading into Labor Day. We're 2 weeks away from Labor Day, as if kind of crazy. But full swing of Canadian football action that we can dive right into. Looks like Blake's ready, so we'll bring him in. Hey Blake, how's it going? Thanks for joining us.
Channeling my coach Phil because he's not here, so I thought I'd record in the car. But
Coming back from work?
yeah, I got an event to go to tonight, so just enough time to do the show here, and then I'll be heading into that.
Nice.
So
How you doing, Cole? How was your week?
I'm doing good, boys. I'm just happy, man. As you can see with the smile on my face, back with the fellas and talking CFL football. I talked to, or I guess I tweeted about it on, yeah, I think it was yesterday. Just super grateful for feel like everything we've built and everything we're doing right now, and just what we're doing. Like I was talking with my play-by-play partner last week. Like, dude, we're just talking football right now. Like in one of our breaks during the game on Saturday, and that's what we do every Wednesday. Which is like we're just so lucky and so blessed to do it. So I'm happy as always, boys. It's a bummer when we unfortunately have to miss some from time to time due to schedules, but it happens, right? We're busy human beings with life outside of football as well. So just happy to be back talking football. As you said, Shane, U Sports is basically here. I know it's preseason, but probably won't pay attention too much.
it's not cold though. Canada West is the only one that's
I
still
know
in its preseason.
it's week 0, right? Is it dubbed or whatever? But
No, week 0 is last week. So week 1 is
okay.
officially starts Friday night. Canada West does have their preseason game Thursday. It's the new look Regina Rams because they did upgrade their logo. Going up against the Manitoba Bisons. Every team, it's weird. So every team
BC's
seems
got
to have
an exhibition game this week too.
yeah, but they're not official like preseason. Like there's official preseason games at least on the U Sports website, and then there's a bunch of like controlled like scrimmage type dual practice type situations that every other team is doing.
Yeah, I think it's just a weird thing because I know previously UBC Calgary, or maybe it just was Calgary, would play like a game in like interior BC or something like that, where like it's not a technical preseason game. So I think it's just I don't know. It's one of those weird, I guess, scheduling quirks, I guess.
Yeah, and hey,
Yeah, it's
before we get
weird.
into it, the U Sports have officially opened out, like released an app.
Yeah,
I
geez.
did, yeah. I couldn't
Oh,
log into that. It was driving me nuts, but
It's
I
weird.
I did
Um,
download it.
so I created my account. I had to reset my password after, so it just created an account, hit OK, then stayed on like the create your account page. So I had to like restart the app, and then I went to log in. It said not live, so I was like reset my password, and then it worked. So I'm like, hey, clear. And it's funny, I downloaded it like 2 days ago. I downloaded it the night before because I was like, oh, I'm gonna see if it's like up on the App Store. And I'm like, oh, U Sports Loyalty app. And I'm like, okay, I'll download it. I don't know if this is it or not, but yeah, it was live on the App Store on the Monday.
Yeah,
I mean,
really weird. But
maybe to be expected a little bit of issues to start with something new like that, and hopefully it was being downloaded quite a bit. I feel like this is also an unfortunate time that how do we not have an app for the CFL?
We
yeah,
did,
I know.
and then they
I
just
know
shut it
Shane
down.
mentioned that. Like, how we have a U Sports app but not a CFL one.
And I know it sounds super like millennial, super, first world problems talking about an app, but it is super beneficial to your product, your brand, your marketing. Like it is a super important thing to have, I feel like, when growing your league, and I feel like the CFL would benefit. I don't know like why not.
Too much money to make, I guess, or too much time. To be fair, they can barely get their website to work properly. They need to fix a
Well,
website before they release an app.
that's a different
Useless.
topic,
Yeah,
but
I
it
mean,
is.
I would be pretty pissed if they released an app but didn't fix their website because their website's awful. Genius Sports has been
It would be
horrendous.
super half. It would
so
be
bad.
half-assed for sure.
Like
It
it would
was
just
it was last week's game that I know we'll recap here in a minute, but it was last week's game between your Red Black Shane and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and McKenna was watching the game. I wasn't able to, so I was just kind of following along. She's texting me updates, and I'm like, "Is there an injury or something?" Like the actual CFL website, the game tracker was stuck with like 10 minutes left in the second quarter, and the Blue Bombers up 10-0, and I was like, "Is there like injury or something?" And she's like, "No, it's 17-3 for the Blue Bombers now." And I was like, "What do you mean?"
yeah. I mean, I know there's actual people behind that site, and they're not always the greatest. Like teams, sometimes it's all manual, right? Like there's no automation. Nothing's like it's not synced up to what's going on at the stadiums or what's like synced up to TSN, which makes it even worse because you're into it for human error.
Yeah.
But hey, man, hopefully this new commish can come in, bring some fresh ideas, get some of these things fixed, make it a little bit more streamlined, make it a lot easier. But yeah, let's dive into week 11. Um, Not as close of games this week as there was last week. Ottawa did make it interesting. They lost 27-30 to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers after being down 17-3. Man, I don't even know what to say about this one. Like, I'm great. I'm happy to see like Dustin Crum made it. Like, they made it a game between like Crum and Pimpleton. But I mean, it's just typical. Tommy Condell. You have a turnover. You have a chance to win the game near the end, and you go 2-0, and you punt it back, and you give Winnipeg a chance to put Castillo in a spot where anything if you get to the 45-yard line, it's even though he missed earlier, if you get him to the 45-yard line, get it like a 52-yarder, he's more than likely going to hit it. It just a typical Tommy Condell type of game plan. They need to wake up earlier. But what do you guys think? What's your thoughts on that game?
Cole, you want to go or do
I
you want me to go?
I now know how Shane feels as a longtime supporter of the Ottawa Red Blacks, because as we were going a little bit back and forth there in the first half, um, quite frustrating to watch from, and I was like, as you guys know, I feel like Shane probably thinks I'm a little bit of a hater, which I'm not. Obviously, I picked them to finish a little bit better this season, and I like a lot of their players, a lot of their coaching staff as well. I feel like we all kind of mutually agree about Bobby Dice and him probably getting the short end of the stick at some point this year, and feeling like he's a better coach than probably is going to get credited for after this season. Like once again, I kind of like believe, like I'm like, okay, like Shane's like, okay, they're getting healthy, like they're getting some weapons back offensively, like they can win this one against struggling Winnipeg, right? And then Winnipeg gets out of the gate and jumps all over them right away, and it's like, oh, this doesn't look good. And then the ending where they like, it's like, okay, like this one kind of, it doesn't feel like Ottawa's gonna make much of this. They end up making it even worse because they made it close. Like if it was a blowout, it would have been like, okay, like this is a little bit easier pill to swallow by like the third and fourth quarter. You're kind of okay, this is the outcome. But the fact that they made it close, they had an opportunity to win, and then they just couldn't pull through. It's just like it almost feels like, as I said, like I can feel how Shane feels now. Maybe not to the extent quite how Shane feels, but it just almost feels like like when one of these games aren't your games, one of these years aren't your year, where it's just the ball isn't rolling your way and stuff like that. It feels like this is Ottawa's year that it's not rolling, the ball isn't rolling their way.
Yeah, no, it's I agree that it's very frustrating. I think you and I both, Cole, are in 100% agreement with Shane that like Tommy Condell needs to go because like there's no excuse for that. First of all, it looked like neither team wanted to win that game because let's recap just a little bit. Like the Blue Bombers are up 27-20 with a minute 15 or whatever it was on the clock. On 3rd and 1, when you have Chris Strevler, they decide to try like a 57, 58-yard field goal, whatever it was. They miss. Khalil Pimpleton returns at 117 yards to tie the game. And on the very next play, Zach Collaros, as we said, throws an interception. And Tommy Condell, inexplicably on 1st down, tries a pass. Like, at worst, on 1st down, you have to go with a run there because they went with a run on 2nd down and it got them 7 yards. So it wasn't enough for the 1st down. But if you tried that on 1st down, you're in 2nd and medium, 2nd and short, arguably. You could have your entire playbook at your disposal. And if you choose to, you can run the ball again. You're on the road. At worst, you play for overtime. You just run out the clock and you go to overtime, but instead they have to kick it back to the Blue Bombers. Zach Collaros turned back the clock a bit with a 20-yard run, and then just a little 10-yard out to Nick Dembski. And Castillo, as we just said, he missed one, but he's probably not missing two. So he was money from 45 yards or whatever it was out to win that game for the Blue Bombers.
I knew Ottawa was going to lose purely based on what happened. You have William Stanback, who is probably one of the best power backs in the league right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think we can all agree that like he is a top tier power back. And you QB sneak it 3 times with Dustin Crum. You have 1 yard and you can't QB sneak it into the end zone with Dustin Crum. Why do you have a power back and not use him in power back situations? Like that was the moment I knew Ottawa was going to lose because like you can't give these teams, like you can't give Winnipeg like free points, and that's basically what it is. Like every drive has to end in points against this team in some capacity, and they just even if they honestly, I would have been fine if they kicked a field goal. You know what? Just screw it. Take the 3 points. It's early in the game. Take the 3 points. But you can't leave points on the table. You can't walk away with nothing and expect to win games, especially against better teams. And that's where I was like, all right, Ottawa's going to lose, especially once they went back and scored a touchdown.
Zane, jog my memory. Was that on the first drive of the game, or no? When was that?
Yes.
Late in the first quarter, wasn't it? Or was it it was the first drive?
Yeah.
So Ottawa started with the football. They drove down, got stuck. Correct. That's
No,
what happened.
Winnipeg scored. It was 7-0, and then it was Ottawa's first drive.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was 3-0 for Winnipeg, and then they drove. And my bad. They snapped it. They did a QB sneak twice apparently. Adebayo had a 1 yard. That doesn't make sense.
For some reason, I thought like Blake that it happened at the end of the first quarter, but that's why I just said.
No, it was like midway through, and then they had, but basically like they came back, they punted luckily, but then they scored at the end of the first quarter. Winnipeg scored to make it 10-0.
Yeah, it's just it's tough. It's tough sledding for sure on both sides of the football, and like I said, I feel like kind of the only thing unfortunately like left is kind of like the who's gonna get scapegoated out of this. And I'm sure Shane, you're hoping it's Tommy Condell, maybe some other coaches, but I would imagine it's probably gonna end up being Bobby Dice at some point.
See, I have troubles with that because they reportedly signed him to an extension ahead of this season, and given OSEG's track record in this situation, is that they probably don't want to pay him to sit on the sidelines for a year.
Yeah, that's fair.
They're not
Is that
as
just like a
fruitful with their money as like Domar is.
Is that a reported thing?
It came out before the season, but I don't know if that's actually like official. I don't remember seeing anything.
If it's like a handshake deal or kind of thing, you know?
Oh no, yeah, it was confirmed. April 3rd.
Interesting.
Signed through 2026.
I feel like that makes things a little bit
another
like
year of
yeah,
another year of mediocrity at best for you, Shane.
Maybe with a new OC, maybe get someone who isn't so conservative. Put me at OC. Put up like 50 points a game. We'll never punt it.
Serve it to him easier, Blake. Jeez, just freaking.
But should we move on to Friday, the night where I took first place forever?
Oh, not for everybody.
Oh. Let it get into his head. He has a little bit of success, and he lets it go to his head.
Like it's like Mario Kart, you know. You can't be first in the first like 2 laps. You kind of want to get past, you know. Like you're in first, you're like, oh, this is not good, because then you get passed on the 3rd lap. I'm letting you get ahead on the 2nd lap. You're feeling good right now. I'm about to hit you with a red shell and pass you. I'm telling you.
We'll see this week, but
actually no, maybe I want to save that red shell. Probably wait till week 19, week 20, somewhere down the line.
Take him right at the end, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Toronto Argonauts lose 28-20 to the Edmonton Eskimos.
Oh,
my bad. And Edmonton Elks.
Shane, wow!
Now you've done it.
I told you guys.
I don't know what Elks is going on in Edmonton, because everything they're pointing to is just going back to the Eskimo name.
Yeah.
Dude, I told you, boys.
But the Edmonton Elks, my apologies.
We can just that.
Hey, maybe they're getting that old Edmonton magic back.
Fajardo, I'm telling you, boys.
Game manager extreme.
Does just enough.
I can't stand the Elks.
No, here's the question. Is this Edmonton actually being good, or is it Toronto just shooting themselves in the foot?
It's both.
Because Nick Arbuckle played great. Put up 382 yards, 30 out of 42, 1 touchdown. Their running game was atrocious.
I feel like CFL fans have to give Nick Arbuckle his kudos, man. Like he's played. I don't say he's played phenomenal. He's played great, but he's played well. Like he's played good enough for them to win games. But we talked about it a few weeks ago, I believe. Like the defense is atrocious.
Yeah, I mean, their defense gave up 92 yards to Rankin, and then Fajardo had 273 on 25 out of 31, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
Just considering where the narrative was after Grey Cup, where it was he got gifted most outstanding player in the Grey Cup kind of thing, kind of game managed, which he did. That's still a fact that he did get gifted the most outstanding player in the Grey Cup. Kind of tough when it's a defensive game. Nobody on your team really stood out that much. So
it should have been,
He's quarterback. Obviously, you could give it to Winton. I think we all kind of suggested that after Grey Cup, even Willie in a losing effort. But considering where it was in the offseason after that, we're most people probably, myself included, thought and I guess the record kind of shows that maybe not as a team, but Nick Arbuckle's played well. I think he's definitely earned himself opportunities to stay where he was out of the league, correct, last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was bad. He was basically an afterthought.
He was picked up by Toronto though, where he was on the couch basically, correct? I believe that was the storyline, right?
Yeah, because Duke got hurt, didn't he?
Yeah. So where he's played well through this 12 weeks, 10 games, however many they played, and I don't know how many bye weeks they've had. Where he's
they're 10. They're 2-8, I believe.
He'll get another contract for sure. He'll get another 2-year contract, I would imagine, and whether or not he lasts the 2 years or is a starter somewhere else for 2 years, but he's played well, so we definitely got to give him his kudos, man.
Yes. Blake, you got anything to say?
Yeah, just I agree that the Argos just continually shoot themselves in the foot. They they led this game like late in the third quarter, wasn't it, Shane? They
Yep,
had the
I think
ball
they had a
inside the Elks red zone at like the 15-yard line, and I believe it was like a quarterback keeper that Arbuckle went to go make a play on. He gets sacked, or well, I guess he tried to step up in the pocket is what it was, and then he got sacked, fumbled the ball. The Elks recovered, and they go down the field, score a touchdown, take the lead, and never really give it back after that. So I know the Argos had a chance to tie it near the end of the game, like on the final drive. I was hoping they would score a touchdown and then miss the 2-point convert. I had some stuff writing on that, but that didn't happen. So I was okay with that. I mean, I was happy the Elks won, but it's just the Argos. And before we get off this game, just want to send our thoughts to Demonte Coxey.
Yeah.
He's very quietly had a heck of a season. Like he's top what 3 in
I
receiving.
think
I
he's
want to say top 5.
I think he's number 2 behind Hatch right now.
Yeah, and he took a scary hit on that play before the third down play where the pass
Yeah,
interference was originally called and then it was picked up after an Elks challenge. But he went up to make a play and he got undercut. Now I found out after the game that because I know that rule was changed this year. I found out after the game the reason it wasn't flagged is because he technically got hit above the knees. I still would have thrown a flag there though. He's still 100% a defenseless receiver. He fell awkwardly on kind of his head, neck area or whatever. From reports, I heard he was unfortunately knocked unconscious on the field. Did get up with the help of trainers and make their way off, but he's missed the first 2 days of Argos practice this week, so it doesn't look like he's going to play against the Lions. Which even the Lions fan in me, it's unfortunate because I want to see the best play against the best, right? Like I don't ever want to see anyone get injured, and especially in a manner like that.
yeah. I
yeah,
mean, I think
for
we're all in the same boat, right? We want the best players on the field. But yeah, he's second in the league. Keon Hatcher's number 1 in receiving yards.
Yeah. So
So
yeah, just hoping for a speedy recovery from him. Hopefully it's just the 1 week and he can get out. He can get back and get to ball in for the Argos.
so here's a question for you: Does if depending on how the rest of the season goes, let's say Edmonton can kind of get 4 more wins, and their season 7-9. What do
Seven and
you think?
11.
Or
This
seven
isn't the
eleven? My
NFL.
bad. 18 games. Um, what do you think Edmonton does with Trey Ford?
Get rid of him finally.
contractually, I don't know if they'd be able to. I don't know if his trade value is so bad right now. I feel like they would just have to ride him on the roster as like QB2.
Yeah, but I don't think you can keep him and Fajardo. That's the thing. Like
Well,
I mean,
absolutely,
what's
but
the
like,
cap
it
penalty
would be another
if you
Montreal
cut him?
situation from last offseason.
but not. I don't think. I agree with you, but Fajardo has the cachet to say, "I just won a Grey Cup for you, and now you're moving on." Where Trey Ford was never. Much as I would have loved to say that he could have been, or like would love to say that he was a proven starter, I don't believe he ever really legitimized himself as a proven starter at all.
No.
No.
So, like, I feel like that is a slight difference, like opposed to like why the hell should Trey feel some type of way about them moving on? You never. Every time you got given the keys, you threw them back.
No, and I didn't mean Trey at all in that scenario though. I meant Cody. Like
But I don't think Cody would be that type of guy to be like, it's me or him, or like Cody to be like boisterous enough to like be like,
fair
Tim,
enough.
get the hell out of here. Because like
Yeah, because
that,
all the
he,
stuff that came out of Montreal was never that he forced a trade. It was just more so that Montreal
awkwardness.
knew they couldn't keep him and Alexander.
Yeah, I just feel like, like unless you, of course, you could flip him for like the CFL trade value is already like ridiculous. So like you could flip him for a 6th round pick or whatever like that. Because like, what is his value? Like, no, is any team giving a like 3rd round pick or higher up? Like,
No,
most definitely not.
No, I mean
He's
you're probably looking at like a 6th or a 5th round pick.
And like if you're going like player for player, like what like that's what I mean. Like where's his value there? Like you can't because like he's basically you're basically trading for a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
And
So
the value there isn't in the offseason. It's into training camp, after training camp, when injuries happen, all that sort of stuff, or in the season when injuries happen. So it's like they probably are in a situation where they have to hold on to him. If Cody does say like win another 3 or 4 games, it's like, okay, this is probably the right thing to do. Let's go with him, right? He's a veteran guy. Like he's shown, as much as I somewhat agree with Shane, like he's managed the game right. Maybe they think like, hey, like another year of this defense together, hopefully they can take that next step, because that was kind of like what was going to be like the backbone of the team this year, for being honest, right? Was the defense, all the promised free agents, even like the defense from 2024. I guess I'm talking about like how they ended that season as well. Like they were on a high, so coming into this year, it was like they were feeling good. So maybe they feel like, hey, let's run with the game manager. We know what we have in Cody, opposed to Trey, where it's you never know what the heck he's gonna have on any given week. And then it's like it is tough. I do agree with you in that sense, Blake, of like the awkwardness of like you built up Trey Ford to be your franchise quarterback, and now he's he's just another guy in your locker room,
yeah,
where he's like,
they
and
gave
it's
him
not
a
like.
3-year contract last offseason.
But I would imagine, are they like, was that 2 and 1? Was that
No,
3
it's like a
straight?
three
I
a
think it's 3
3 year deal.
straight.
See, and then that's the other thing too. Am I correct in this? If a team trades for Trey Ford, they're trading for his contract as well.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, he's in year 1 of year 3 of
Yeah,
a
so
3 year
like,
deal.
who the hell wants to do that even more? I would be like,
The
no,
UFL.
thank you. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I guess it's not as
So
common in the CFL opposed to the NFL, where teams will just eat the cap and like just straight up cut a player, where then like Trey could go somewhere else on his own. But then like I
I
said,
don't
like
think there's a dead cap in the CFL unless it's like injury grievance like BC's dealing with this year.
Yeah.
so
With
so they could cut
Hollins.
him without like any
Unless like my
implication.
understanding of the CFL contracts is unless so guaranteed money if if they're cutting the off season before that date, they're fine.
I believe it's
The
February
only issues
15th or
arise if
something.
yeah, well so some contracts are like January 1st, some are like January 10th. It's weird. But then so unless he's hurt, he could be cut before that signing bonus
So they
or
don't have to give it to him.
guaranteed money hit and not be on the hook for it. That's my understanding of how like after looking over all the contract stuff.
So say they cut him in the spring, they would just eat whatever they've already paid him, basically. Whatever he was
Yeah,
guaranteed at
basically.
signing, and whatever he was guaranteed, say, throughout his game checks. And then like you said, there's the new league year where maybe guys get it on like January 1st, they get a bunch of money, or like Blake said, February 15th, where they get like that signing bonus money. I know there's another one like it's like kind of before the season that I think comes, that has been talked about. So it's an interesting one. Trey Ford's down bad, man. Like he needs to prove his value, or else like he's stuck in the mud right now because he's in Edmonton. Like I would be curious to know his mentality of like, does he buy into being like a Chris Strubler, where he's like long-term backup, short yardage king, and can really do that? But like I agree with Shane shaking his head. I don't think that like in my mind, I feel like, and rightfully so, because I feel like right, wrong, or different. Like I'm sure he's been told all his life, hey, if you want to play DB, like you're probably not going to play quarterback long term. So he wants to keep proving people that he can. I don't know if we can even say that he can play quarterback, but like why not buy into that, because that's what your biggest skills are. That's what you are, is a short yardage guy. Like you're Chris Trevor 2.0 pretty much.
But a lot less weight on you and a lot shorter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But
I
inaccurate as a
just
passer, inconsistent as a passer, and
Yeah.
athletic
No,
runner.
I get what you're saying.
I'm so the reason why I asked is do you think it makes sense for BC to trade for him?
No, I
Because
don't.
th- because they already have Chase Bryce, who is
Not
still
even.
tech. Sorry, go ahead, Cole.
not even that. I just feel like the not even wanting to deal with that. I feel like because not that like far like think about other markets opposed to like who we have in Farhan, who will like, as we know with like the Canucks, will ask the tough questions. Work struggles for a game or two. Like I feel like those questions pop up of like, hey, you have Ford on the roster. Like, is there any like any of that? Why? I feel like just like it's not why it's I feel like it's just not a win for the roster. But Shane, why do you like do you see
Well,
that as like
I
maybe a
know,
pivot?
I know you guys have been vocal about Mazzoli and Bryce at
Yeah,
different points, and considering the fact that you have a Canadian quarterback for roster and ratio purposes, feel like having a backup Canadian who can play a similar style to what you have Rourke in, not identical, would be kind of a move that might make sense for BC.
I really want like a veteran. Like I was kind of I
He
was
is a vet.
hopeful
He's
with
in his fourth year.
That's no, I want like a like 8 to 10 year veteran. Like, and I know we're like, who the hell are you gonna get, Cole? But I was kind of hopeful on Masoli to be like, come in. Hey, he's a veteran guy. He's played in the league. Like, Rourke goes down for a couple games. He come in, game manage. Like, it was the total opposite. So I'm just like, I'm still buying into the veteran, but I would not because like as we all I feel like agree. Straightforward, and maybe it's crazy for me to say this
Because
because
you were the biggest Trey Ford
no,
supporter.
I was, but it's crazy for me to say that in year 4 he needs to develop more, and maybe at some point you're just not that guy. This is who you've been, as I've said it a few times. So it's like I don't want that guy who's I know is not going to get developed without playing in game reps. As I've said multiple times, I know we've talked about the coaching cap and positional coaches being there for him and stuff like that, and that being important. I just feel like it's so hard to like develop any better. I know we like to bring up the Mahomes and a few guys that have done it, but more often than not, that's very one-off case. So I feel like a guy like Trey Ford just like, he's not going to develop any more than he is already.
Yeah, no, I would agree.
So
And it's
that's
just,
why like I wouldn't want him to come into BC and he's not going to develop, and we just know who he is.
but
It's kind of
what's,
crazy. I made a comparison that Trey Ford and Anthony Richards are the same quarterback, just in different leagues.
yeah,
Yeah, I
Because like
saw.
all the potential, all the excitement around their running ability, but can't hit an open barn door.
Yeah,
but
I saw there's a
Richardson's
fun.
still only 23 though. Like
Yeah,
that,
Yeah,
like he left college early to go play in the NFL.
yeah, and he still barely throws the ball. I think they were
I
saying that he
know, no. I'm just saying, like he's younger than Trey Ford by about 4 or 5 years.
yes, yes, which is crazy to think about because you think Trey Ford is like 25.
yeah,
But
he's our age.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
Trey is. Anthony's younger than all of us.
No, I know. I'm talking about Trey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Trey's our age. Trey's like 97 or 98, I think,
So how
Um.
about
or
are we done
99.
on the Elks? Can we move on or?
Yeah,
Yeah, we
we
can.
got the 8-1 Saskatchewan
I,
Roughriders,
I was just
or
gonna say,
the
how about
improving
those
the
Rough
8-1
Riders?
Saskatchewan Roughriders, beating up on the Hamilton Tiger Cats 29-9. Um, Overall, I didn't watch this game live. I went back and watched it. Um, I we were busy getting ready for school and whatnot on Saturday, so I wasn't able to be home to watch it live. But I don't. This is what I'm talking about. Hamilton's defense, where like there's times where you just look at it and you're like, this team is not. This defense just doesn't have it together. Um, Keyshawn Johnson had a great night, 117 yards. Trevor Harris was 21 or 27 for 307. To be fair, Trevor Harris.
70% again, kept that streak going.
Yeah. To be fair, Trevor Harris loves playing against Hamilton, so I'm not shocked that he had a great game. Um,
Shane.
Bo
I
Levi.
love how Shane can never fully give Trevor Harris his credit. He goes and like he has a good game, and then it's like that like
To be fair, he doesn't
backhanded
deserve full
compliment.
credit. I'm gonna be very honest. We talk about
That
inconsistency.
defense. How many
Like
picks did that defense have the other day? 3?
2.
Was it? Because I know Milligan had
Uh,
1, and someone else had 1. But
Yeah, 2 interceptions, 6 sacks.
yeah, that defense is legit.
It's
Like
starting to finally come around.
it's
And 1 fumble. So they had 3. So they forced 3 fumbles. They recover or they forced that make fumble return. What? That makes no sense.
if you're on the CFL website, FFEC is forced fumbles.
Yeah. It's
FREC
just when
is
you look
fumble
at the
recovery.
breakdown, it's fumbles returned.
Oh, that's weird.
So yeah, so they forced 3 fumbles, but they didn't recover any. And then they had 2 interceptions, and then Hamilton had a fumble recovery and an interception. So they were tied. They were 2-2, but they did force 3 fumbles. They just couldn't recover them. So, but I mean that 6 sacks for 47 yards is huge. Holding Bo Levi to 50% completion at 200 yards. Maybe this isn't. Maybe this is the. I want to say confidently this is probably the first time since 2013 that this Rough Riders team actually has like a Grey Cup caliber team on both sides of the ball. Like right now they're healthy enough, knock on wood, on both sides to have an effective playoff like Grey Cup contending roster. Even with Lawler struggles, they're 8-1.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
sure.
and
they
injuries. Like I
signed
think
another. They signed
all
a kicker
forget.
today, but
Yeah, like sure, cool. If he's a little bit more accurate, you're 9-0. You're. It's not like you're effectively losing games
I
because
wouldn't.
of
I
him.
wouldn't. No, because they lost that. How many did he miss in that Calgary game? Was it 3? And they lost by 14. So I would argue that you're still 8-1. You just wouldn't have to win this week's game because Calgary and Saskatchewan only play each other twice. So to
Yeah,
win the season series, you wouldn't have to win this game by as much.
no,
But I would argue that they're still 8-1.
yeah, they're still 8-1, and you win this week, you're 9-1. You bump Calgary down. Also, I don't. Is the head to head points? I thought it was just straight.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
If it's
oh,
two,
if they're
no,
tied.
if it's two games and it's tied, it's points between those 2 games. The
Yeah,
difference.
I
So
couldn't remember if it's that or if it was just straight point differential.
no, it's
Uh,
between the 2 games. So,
yeah, but still, I mean,
but
you're
if they
8-1.
win this week, it won't. I would argue it won't even matter because the Stamps would drop to what 6-4.
Yeah, and
The
they would improve
Riders
to
would be
9-1.
9-1. So you're 3 games up. The Stamps would have to basically like
Win
the
out.
Riders would have to collapse for the Stamps to win the division.
Yeah,
In
exactly.
my opinion.
Yeah, because you would basically have to lose
9-1, so you'd have to go
3
like
out of your
4.
last 8 games
Yeah,
minimum.
yeah, if that's the case, the Stamps would have to go 8-0.
Yeah.
So
So I think Saskatchewan's safe. I think if you're a Saskatchewan fan, you should feel pretty confident that like you're safe. You're probably going to win the division. Probably going to be the
until
best team in
something
the league.
happens to Harris.
No one here is praying for an injury to any player.
I kid,
Well,
of course.
Shane is most definitely. I'm just kidding. As well.
No, because I don't.
No, I kid.
I would never wish injury
No, for sure.
to a player.
And I said that, but I'm 100%, and I'm sure people by now know our personalities. I'm 100% joking when I say that. Like, I would never wish injury on anybody.
No.
I
I just want him to flame out. Like just be bad. Don't get hurt. Just be bad. That That's my personal model to players that I'm kind of on the border about. Just I don't want you to get hurt. I just want you to play bad.
Just be bad.
Just play bad.
I love how Coach glossed over my my comment as Blake was celebrating that he's in first place, and I said Blake's gonna crash and burn like the Riders after Labor Day, and he said facts. I was like, oh shit, Coach agrees that the Riders are gonna crash and burn after Labor Day as well. But
to be fair, Labor Day that has not been kind to Saskatchewan in recent years.
I agree, but I also
The
agree with
actual Labor Day game, or like just Labor Day, like after that point in general?
Both.
I mean, last year was better for them. Like they had their mid-season slump in like the end of July, beginning of August, but
because
but think about
Trevor Harris came back, was it not? Trevor Harris missed like the middle part of the season.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he came back around Labor Day.
But like you just said,
hypothetically, if Winnipeg beats Montreal this week, which is a very big possibility with either Morgan or Patterson playing.
It is Morgan. They announced the depth chart today, but
okay. So yeah, with Morgan playing, Winnipeg can jump to 6-4. Let's say Saskatchewan beats Calgary this weekend. They move to 9-1. If you lose both games against Winnipeg, we're talking about, you probably have the division clinched.
Come on. Why do we have to go there, Shane? Winnipeg is dead.
Because it's important.
No,
I want to make sure Rough Rider fans understand that, like, you have a chance. This
coach isn't even here this week. Why are you doing this to us?
The chance that if you lose this weekend, you will be one game above Winnipeg for first in the division. All I'm saying, it's an important 3 weeks. All I'm saying is that it's an important 3-week stretch for the Rough Riders. They're 8-1, but you can't go 1-2 over the next 2 weeks.
Well, you can't lose the season. You just gotta space out the losses. Like you can't lose both halves to Winnipeg, is what you're saying.
I mean, ideally, if you go 1-3, you're still 2 games behind. You're still 2 games up on them.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, I mean, ideally, you don't want to lose against Calgary and then go into your Labor Day matchup and your Banjo Bowl potentially ending up tied if Winnipeg wins against Montreal. Because if Calgary wins, you're 8-2, Winnipeg is 6-4. You could be tied heading out of Banjo Bowl, which, given how things have gone in previous years, is a very real possibility that could happen for the Rough Riders.
Yeah, but it's like the history of that rivalry suggests that normally the Riders win on Labor Day and the Bombers win on Banjo Bowl.
Yes.
But it's not out of the question that one team sweeps the other one.
No. And if you're Saskatchewan, you're kind of heading into a serious situation where, like, you could lose out at first if you're not careful. Yes. So
yeah, true enough.
And I'm pretty sure Collaros is supposed to be back. Collaros is supposed to be like better than he was last week, is what they're saying. Is that practice this week has been better than what they saw last week. So
yeah, I saw Winnipeg's depth chart. I know he's starting, but the one that I didn't see, and I know he returned to practice this week, is Dalton Schoen.
Yeah. So what? Okay, you guys saw Demario Houston signed or re-signed with.
I saw.
I feel like we have to at least address it.
Do we though? Like,
we've talked about other things of similar nature. Yeah. I feel like we can't just not talk about it. But we can talk about it before we get to the picks and after you guys tell me about what you thought about this game.
Yeah, I mean, like I already said, like the Riders are definitely for real in my opinion. I don't know, maybe it'll take another week or two, but like, are you guys starting to agree with me that like the whole Eastern Division is not that good. Like the Alouettes are good when they have their full roster, but right now they don't have their full roster. They don't have anywhere close. And like I'm not scared of anyone else in the East. Like at all. At all.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm curious to know how Shane feels.
You're not wrong. It's been like that. There's multiple instances of the East just being mediocre. And like being mediocre against each other and mediocre against the West. Like it's just it's how you end up with a division winner who goes 8-9-1.
I feel like it is also
Yep.
like we say this though every year, and then like as we've seen the last how many years, Toronto ends up beating the West or Montreal ends up beating the West. And obviously as
Yeah.
like you said, right? Totally
Yeah, but
different rosters
that's more
when
so like
Montreal's healthy. I
that's
get
more so
that,
the
right?
CFL. Like it's one game playoff, anyone can win.
Yeah, fair enough. But
That's
at the
just
end of the
football.
day, they are able to say like the Grey Cup champion came from the West, opposed to like when
Yeah,
we're able to like
fair
say that
enough.
we claimed it, right?
Fair
So
enough.
I do
But
agree with you though, but it's like, well, why the fuck can't anybody from the West win the Grey Cup then?
yeah, true enough. But
Maybe
I
that's
think
just
I
I
don't
one
know.
of
saw
Maybe this year is the year we finally get a West versus West Grey Cup. But
I'm honestly, boys, I'm fully. I know I picked Saskatchewan, Montreal. I'm fully bought into the Calgary Hamilton for the storylines,
we'll
man.
see.
I
That would
mean
be
BC
very cool.
Toronto, BC Ottawa. The Lions jump over the Blue Bombers. The Red Blacks jump over the Alouettes, and we get a Lions Red Blacks Grey Cup.
Sorry, Shane, you got to lose that one, buddy.
that's fine. I don't deserve to be there anyways. But one more game of the week. BC Lions trounced the Montreal Alouettes. Caleb Evans is out for the year again with a torn ACL.
Poor guy. Poor guy.
36-18. Just, again, I think an overall dominant performance from BC. Feels like the BC team is finally starting to get in rhythm. It's taken a little while. The offense looks like it's finally starting to figure itself out. Defense is looking okay. Big test coming up over the next couple of weeks against some of the weaker East teams. Right? BC plays
Ottawa twice.
Toronto and then Ottawa back to back. Heading out of Labor Day, so the opportunity for them to make ground in the standings is huge because they're 5-5. You could end the next 3 games. You have a chance to go 8-5, knock down some pretty mediocre to bad East teams, and then you play Calgary. So I think big test for BC coming up. Take advantage of these games. Montreal just looks lost without Alexander. That team looks completely
Well,
different
it's
without
not
him.
just Alexander. I mean, I agree that he's a big part of why they look lost right now, but like they're without Philpott, they're without Duquois, they're without Mac. Like,
Yeah, but I feel like even watching like Bethel Thompson and then Evans and then Morgan, like that offense just doesn't have an identity.
no, 100%.
I think like
There's
Alexander brings a certain type of like identity to the team.
Mhm.
And
I
I
mean,
don't
to
know.
be
I feel like that
expected, right?
offense could, like, if it was Alexander back there, he could make do without Philpott and co. Right? Like I think
Yeah, I
the team just
100% agree with that.
plays with a different swagger with Alexander behind center. But that's my take on the game. I think BC is getting hot. Could get hot at a really good time for them. Hopefully, it's
Season
not
doesn't
just
start till Labor Day. That's what we say every time.
Yep, and hopefully it's just not a flash in the pan. I mean, back-to-back wins. You have a chance. Knock on wood.
5 in a row.
5 in a row, and you end up 8-5. You're battling for probably second in the West, battling for a home playoff game. You're probably cheering on you're more than likely cheering on Winnipeg to beat Saskatchewan on Labor Day. when you're on a bye. So if you're a BC fan, jump on it, jump on the train, enjoy the ride, because if this team gets hot, they have the weapons to make some noise in the playoffs.
Yeah, I
Like,
would.
you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I mean, I was at this game, and I'm not gonna lie to both of you. Like, it was a snooze fest, for lack of a better term, in
It
the
was
first half. Like, it was bad football. Like, Nathan Rourke looked like the Nathan Rourke that we had talked about a couple weeks ago, where he was missing balls high, stuff like that. Like the Lions on the first drive, they drove down the field inside the Alouettes red zone, and then back to back plays, Nathan threw balls high, forced the Lions to a field goal, and the defense really stepped up big in that first half, because the game was still in the balance until the majority of that first half. Late in the second quarter is when Keon Hatcher would get his first of 2 touchdowns on the game, and the Lions took a 16-9, I believe it was, lead into halftime. But it was just like the defense stepped up big. I know I text Cole during that Hamilton home game. It's like when I do the 3 keys to the game, it's almost like I know what I'm talking about sometimes, because I had asked the D line for better play in that game. And on the first 3 drives, they gave me 3 sacks of Caleb Evans. Unfortunately, just on a fluke play, like nothing to him I could have done, but Evans ended up tearing his ACL on that last sack. But it was just like once the second half started, the Lions got that opening touchdown, 23-9. I never really felt threatened for the rest of that game. I know Morgan got a garbage time touchdown late in the fourth quarter, but I mean, I didn't think he looked terrible. I thought he looked okay. It's just like he has no help right now. Like he's their fourth string quarterback. He was never supposed to play this year, and the Alouettes, they're down bad right now. Like it's a good thing the East is as bad as it is, because if they were in the West, their season might be done already.
Yeah, I agree with most of what Blake said. Kind of similar. Well, to go first, I wasn't actually able to watch this game live either, as I was calling the Raiders Rebels game. I was able to go back rewatch it Sunday. Shout out to CFL Classics, as always, uploading them super fast after the game and commercial free. You gotta love it, boys. Right through the game in about 2 hours. It's nice. But I agree with Blake. It was a kind of a frustrating first half. It felt like the game few weeks ago versus Montreal, or maybe a month ago versus Montreal,
Yeah,
where it all felt like the Lions were like maybe not the better football team, but they obviously got the lead, as Blake said, 16-9. You said at half, Blake. It
yeah,
felt like it almost could have been bigger with some of their opportunities that they had. Obviously, with the little bit of context behind Montreal, who they're playing with, probably should have had a bigger lead going into halftime. So it felt like a little bit frustrating. Of like, man, are we gonna like? As I said, I picked BC but not with as much confidence, because I feel like they were kind of like wishy-washy, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, and we have already lost to a backup quarterback. We've already lost to Chris Streveler, um, who started for Saskatchewan when Trevor Harris was out.
Jake Mayer,
Jake Mayer, like it's
our
like,
boy
man, like
cousin Jake.
cousin Jake. It's like, why can't this team kind of like pull away? And obviously at the end they're able to pull away. Second half from Nathan Rourke, Keon Hatcher was phenomenal. Justin McInnes even has had a strong couple of weeks. He was able to get another touchdown. But as Shane said, right, where I feel like their offense is starting to find their own stride. I would argue with, just as we talked about, I feel like a few episodes early in the season, wasn't necessarily due to like their yardage and stuff like that. It was their inability to like score touchdowns and be able to execute when it mattered, like in the red zone when you cross the ball into opposing teams' territories. So I feel like now they're able to execute a little bit better, and that is a good thing. But at the same time, I feel like we're talking about Nathan Rourke potentially, hopefully, like being in like obviously MOC, kind of like a dark horse MOP candidate. But I feel like he still hasn't played his best football, which is either
Hmm.
maybe a good thing if we're going to start to get into Labor Day, and hopefully he can find that, or if we're going to see kind of like this just like weird. And it sounds weird because like when you look at the numbers after the game, you're like, well, 300. I know there was what was it? He passed for
380.
nearly
Yeah,
400. I think the other as
382, I think it was.
but I think a couple weeks ago he nearly passed for 400 yards again. So it's like he is putting up numbers, but still, like if you watch the game or even like go back and rewatch games, he's still not playing to like I feel like the best Nathan Rourke that we're gonna be able to see. As you said with like the high throws, that has been super weird that that's been like a not a consistent thing, but it has been like fairly, I wouldn't say every game, but like every other game kind of thing. I would wonder how much that's going to be like an off-season conversation with his quarterback coach Rob Williams, or like maybe something that they've seen, something that he's just necessarily doing, because that's something that we never saw in 2022 or even a little bit last year, like these really high throws. And maybe that's like a thing with like subconsciously or unconsciously, like with Justin McInnes, and maybe you're like trying to aim high purposely, whatever it may be. But I feel like that is a good thing that hopefully he's able to play his best football here down the stretch. Lastly, I would still say that I am happy the defense has put, maybe a step in the right direction, but they still give me so much cause for. I have a lot of caution, I guess, of the defense of like just major trust issues, especially when like looking down the pipe and like playoff football, man. When they haven't been able to get stops, they've been
Yep.
they've been they just get in their own way a lot of the time, especially versus like veteran quarterbacks. If it's going to be the three quarterbacks that are probably going to be in the playoffs if they're going to go through the West: Trevor Harris, Zach Collaros, Vernon Adams Jr. Vernon Adams Jr. not so much, but Zach Collaros, Trevor Harris pre-snap, 90% of the time they're going to know what you're in defensively, and they're probably going to get the ball faster than our pass rushers are going to be able to get home. I know it was a better outing for. I know Sonu Tiamba it's a positive. He got his. We're talking about his first sack in week number 12 or week number 11, whatever it is, which is not a good thing because he's consistently not been very good. But when thinking about the playoffs, Trevor Harris is going to get the ball out quick. Zach Collaros is going to get the ball out quick. Vernon Adams has looked good, arguably the MOP right now. So the defense, I feel like, is the biggest key because they need to play the best when it matters most, and especially in playoffs this year.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, it's going to be interesting how the next couple of weeks go. But I mean, that's it for Week 11 recap. A couple things to talk about before we jump in to our Week 12 picks. It was announced last week that the Toronto Argonauts will be playing 3 home games outside of BMO Field due to the World Cup. They'll be playing a game in Hamilton, game against the Ticats, a game in Saskatchewan against the Rough Riders, and a game in Winnipeg against the Blue Bombers. It sounds like the BC Lions will be doing something similar, but
Well,
nothing
not
confirmed.
not exactly, Shane. Sorry to correct you, but with the Lions, it seems like, and the rumor I had heard, I don't know if Cole, you've heard anything about this. Apparently, Mr. Doman is building a 17,000 seat stadium somewhere in BC. It was announced that the Lions will play both of their games in the province of BC. They just don't know where yet, and it obviously won't be at BC Place.
Okay, so I missed that because I think the CFL posting just said that they would also be playing home games outside of BC Place. They didn't
Correct.
specify anything about where, so I figured they were still working on those details.
Yeah, like I said, the stadium is the rumor I've heard, but it has been confirmed that I believe it's 2 home games for the Lions compared to 3 for the Argos, but they will both be in the province of BC.
See, and that's fair. That works. I have a feeling for at least Toronto that there may there's a lot of things that don't line up in my opinion. Like you're probably gone for 6-7 weeks. I feel like being out of your arena for the first 7 weeks of the season shouldn't result into 3 home games being missed. Um, but I get it logistically. It makes sense. Like money wise, putting them in 3 like heavy markets makes sense where you're probably going to see a lot of ticket revenue. But I feel like having missing 3, at least 2 home games outside of Ontario doesn't make like I get the Argonaut fans' frustration where it's like this seems like I don't even have a chance to go watch my team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm missing a home game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, So I understand it. I think logically, like financially, it makes sense because you instead of selling out like a 14,000 seat arena, you'll probably sell out a 30,000, 32,000 plus seat arena. So the revenue makes sense. I just wanted you guys your opinion on the situation and what you guys think of the news.
Well, so Blake, I'll go first. But first and
Yeah,
foremost,
go
I am
ahead.
so thankful that we have Mr. Armar Doman as our owner compared to MLSE, because as I do somewhat like agree with Shane, where it makes sense to go to like the bigger markets, utilize that. It does feel like a little bit of like the easy way out to just kind of go this route, as like Shane said with like the season ticket holders, some of the diehard fans, they're not going to be majority of them aren't going to be like traveling to Saskatchewan to go see that game. So you're essentially going into like a home game where it's going to be, say, in Saskatchewan, 90% Riders fans, right? Where like the Argos fans aren't generally like a team that travels well, where like you see a lot of blue in opposing team stadiums, especially like in Saskatchewan, Winnipeg, where Saskatchewan may be a little bit different right now. But like Winnipeg, there tends to not be many extra seats where they sell out games. And like I believe it was Nick Small. I saw a little bit of a clip from him, like talked about like how now those guys are gonna have to like fight for some of the bad seats and whatnot. So I get it from that standpoint. But as I said, I'm very thankful that I'm a BC Lions supporter fan. Um, that I know, Blake, as you talked about, hearing some rumors. I feel like that is just rumor as of now, and kind of something that's maybe like wishful thinking more so than anything, especially with like the turnaround that's gonna have to be like it'll probably be less than a year's time, right? World Cup's in June, I think, June or July.
Yeah, yeah.
So like
June
gonna
to
be
July. Yeah,
would be a pretty quick turnaround. Like that would be basically like I guess like it would be bigger than putting up like a McLeod Athletic Park or McLeod Athletic Park. Yeah, it is.
yeah.
Where speaking about McLeod Athletic Park, I believe there's been three stadiums or park that's been like rumored about potentially hosting those games. I think the first one was the Apple Bowl up in Kelowna, with the Okanagan Sun being there, where I feel like that works in terms of potentially being able to put um, some temporary seating in, but where it doesn't work is the facilities are terrible and definitely not up to any kind of standards, not up to CGFL standards. So they're definitely not up to CFL standards. There was another turf field that I've actually never been to in Kelowna that seems to be maybe like the best case in terms of some of those locations up in Kelowna, where it had some pretty good facilities, a nice big turf field with like a soccer field next to it, like the facilities are like parking and stuff like that around. So potential of hosting it there. I know Kamloops was suggested as one, but Kamloops I feel like is a tough one at the Hillside Stadium, with like I feel like just being limited to how many temporary seats you'd be able to put in there with just the already the university around there and whatnot. Obviously the facilities are already good there. And then in Langford at Starlight Stadium, with the ability to obviously put in some more temporary seating in there. I believe the preseason got up to, was it like it was under 10K, I believe, Blake, was it not correct?
Something like that. Yeah.
So I would imagine they could get up to maybe around 10 or 12K, which is obviously not ideal. And then I don't believe there's any ones after that. I think I talked about that was three of them, four of them. I don't know if there's any other ones that were suggested other than those four. So I feel like those are kind of like your options as of now. Me personally, obviously, call me biased, but I feel like come closer to me would be obviously the most ideal. But for me, it would be between like Starlight Stadium and the Kelowna turf field facilities, because they have obviously like the locker rooms and parking and all that stuff. Where Blake and I saw firsthand how, I won't say like how much it can hurt the experience, but like at Royal Athletic Park last year, Blake,
Last year.
yeah, 2024, where like if you wanted to get a like pop during the game, you missed 2 quarters of the game because you're waiting in a line. Or like if you wanted to go to the bathroom, you missed a quarter and a half because you're waiting in a line. Where it's like, yes, like I love that you tried and great job putting it together, but it's not suitable for like a professional standard. So I don't think that's um like a legitimate location as well. So in my opinion, I feel like Starlight Stadium in Langford or Kelowna would be kind of ideal, with maybe Hillside Stadium being being in there as well. But it'd be interesting to see if like anything changes with Toronto moving any closer to the date. Because I feel like it's probably not like it's probably pretty close to like being in Penn or Sharpie, but it's probably not like official yet. I'm sure maybe if they got enough uproar, they could maybe change things to maybe playing. I know people suggested like playing at U of T or like Western or something like that, but it'll be interesting with. I'm sure there's. I know Blake has a lot more Argos fans on his timeline than probably I guess me more so than Shane being in Ontario, but I know there's quite a few people that were pretty upset.
Yeah, no, there was definitely a lot of Argos fans that were very upset, and I tend to agree with them. I mean, I know I got into it with someone that I believe Cole knows as well, just from his time at BC high school football. Kyle Kuzak, I believe, is his name. And he was like, I was kind of upset, but it was like, and he pointed out to me, and like rightfully so, that like me being upset was a lot shallower than the Argos fans being upset, let's say, because I was like this sucks. Like for me personally, like I'm a mainlander. I'm gonna have to go to like Kelowna or Kamloops or Vancouver Island again or whatever it is for a Lions game. And he's like, yeah, but think about the people that have to do that for every Lions game. Like they are the BC Lions. Like the Lions should almost be doing this every year, whereas the Toronto Argonauts are the Toronto Argonauts. Like they're based in the GTA, and for them to basically lose like three home games, where as you said, Cole, like a lot of people like Nick Small, for example, Adam Goss is another one, like the PA announcer. Like there's five or six that I could name off the top of my head where they're gonna lose home games is just like it's greed, for lack of a better term, on my part from MLSE, because it 100% looks like Amar Doman genuinely, which you and I already know, Cole, genuinely cares about the fans, whereas MLSE cares about the dollar sign, and that is all they care about. That is all they're chasing right now, because I had also heard that the revenue from these three games still goes to the Argonauts, so they know that they're going to get fans in Regina and in Winnipeg and stuff like that. Whereas they don't care about their own fans. They don't care about the Argos fans. They care about, hey, we're going to get that extra Rough Rider revenue. And that's not right. Like, let's call it what it is. It's not right for the Argos. It's not right for their fans. And I wish there was a better solution. It doesn't look like there will be, but it sucks in general for the Argos.
You know what I think MLS should have done? MLSE should have done. They should have reached out to the Lions and been like, "Hey, you're no longer going to have the Michigan Panthers playing in your stadium in like July. You guys aren't hosting World Cup games. Let's play one or two games down there.
Yeah.
Detroit.
Why not?" Like, I mean, there's probably like realistically there is probably some logistical issues in terms of the field
What about
size.
Highmark Stadium? That's even closer.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you wanted to expand your reach, maybe going down south would have been a great opportunity. But
Yeah.
like
It's
I don't
just,
know. Maybe I'm it's wishful thinking, but I feel like it would have been a great opportunity. Same thing with
yeah.
BC. I don't believe Seattle's hosting any World Cup games. You know,
I don't think so.
but
It's LA, isn't it, Blake?
LA, Boston, Miami, there's a couple of them.
Yeah.
So I think LA and Miami are hosting like the finals and whatnot.
So
But yeah, I mean, that's the big news out of the CFL this week. The other one we talked about a little bit, Demary Houston coming back in um, after his allegations were dropped due to well, they were just dropped. They didn't really give a reason why they were dropped. He signs with Boston. He was signed with Winnipeg. Um, People seem kind of split on him signing with Winnipeg. I believe his wife came out and basically told them to like, leave their family out of their mouth. Uh, but what do you guys have an opinion, if any at all?
I'm
yeah.
just gonna plead the
Col-
I'm gonna plead the fifth on this one, Blake. I'm gonna let you go, buddy. I don't have too much of opinion on this one. I don't care either side of the fence that you are lay on, I feel like I just don't I don't want to get too much into it. So Blake, I feel like this is best for you to probably display, and I want you to truly display your feelings too, Blake.
Yeah, no, it's I totally get where you're coming from, Cole, and I respect that, of course. Like if you don't know a lot about this situation, um, that's totally fine not to comment on it. I didn't know a lot about this situation myself. I had to dig more into it. Apparently, it's not the first time by his wife that he's been accused of domestic violence. If memory serves me correctly, it's at least the second or third time. I believe this is possibly the only time where charges were laid. I believe where they were laid and then dropped. Is that correct, Shane?
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
laid, I believe, in November, and then they were dropped. I think like a month or so ago.
Yeah, so it's like I believe this was the only time they were laid and then dropped. Um, it it's it's sad to say, but it feels like this is the CFL being the CFL again. Like because and no, we don't have to, and I know that's what a lot of people want to equate this to, like the whole Chad Kelly situation. I mean, coach isn't here. Sorry, he who shall not be named. But like his whole situation to this whole situation, um, like the NFL, every situation is different. But the rumor that I had heard, and again, just like the stadium in the last topic that we talked about, the rumor I had heard is that potentially the CFL had told the Calgary Stampeders to release him when these charges were laid. And now that they're dropped, they just allowed the Winnipeg Blue Bombers to sign him without really any retribution, maybe is the right word that I'm looking for. It leaves the CFL part of me with egg on its face, in my opinion, because if that's true, if you told the Calgary Stampeders to cut the guy, then my opinion is similar to some other people that I've seen on my timeline. The Calgary Stampeders should get first crack at him. Now, whether he should be allowed in the league at all is an entirely different topic. We're not the NFL. Like the NFL, we don't have to go into that whole rabbit hole of the NFL and domestic violence. The NFL seems to, how do I word this diplomatically? Turn a black eye to certain players. If you are a star player, the NFL will slap you with a 2, 3 game suspension, whatever. If you're, for lack of a better term, a nobody in the CFL or in the NFL, they're going to almost kick you out of the league. Whereas the CFL, I believe that they just need to have a black and white zero tolerance. I don't, and maybe you guys feel differently, but I don't care whether or not charges are dropped. If charges have to be laid in the first place, you should never play it down in the CFL again. And that is just my opinion. That's the way I was raised. Like the fact that you, especially as a guy, we're all adults now, like we don't fight as it is, but even when we were younger, like you don't lay your hands on a woman ever, and it doesn't matter. Like even if a woman lays their hands on you, that's again a different topic. But as a man, you almost have to take it and just like it is what it is. There's ways around where you can report that to the police if you so choose. But if you lay your hands on a woman, that just, in my opinion, and again, some people might not like it. That's okay. But in my opinion, that puts you in the bottom of society. And as I just said, you should never be allowed to play in the CFL again.
And well said, buddy. Well said. I'm glad that you said how you feel it too. I think it's important to let that be known and talk about it.
Yeah,
Shane,
no,
you
I agree. I mean, the CFL has a precedent when it comes to charges being laid. They've done it before. A couple of years, I think it was 2018. Red Blacks had to release a promising young player because he dealt with it. He had some issues. There's been a couple of incidences where criminal charges were laid that ended up with them just not being in the CFL. So I mean, I'm not sure what I don't know. Obviously, we'll never know the back end stuff of this situation and what happened behind the scenes, which allowed him to be signed. Maybe Calgary did have first rejection. Maybe you say there was reports of it being a multiple incident issue. We don't know. I'm not going to lay judgment on it. You just kind of have to give faith that the proper procedures were put in place.
Yeah,
right?
which is fair.
CFL did its own thing, and we can have a conversation on if you disagree or agree with that. That's totally fine. But at some point, you have to put faith, and you can say it's not deserved or whatever. But you have to put faith in organizations that they
100%.
they themselves are taking the proper steps, to make sure that they're not they're not punishing someone
wrongfully so.
Wrongfully so.
Yeah. No, I totally understand that, but it's if it was my opinion on this, and like we don't have to rehash it again, but if the fact that charges were laid, there was enough evidence to lay charges in the first place. That's my opinion on the matter. But
for sure.
I'm not sure. I don't know enough about the American legal system because I know that's another discussion.
Should we get into picks?
we talked about the two hot topics of the CFL.
To transition quickly, Shane.
Go ahead,
before we transition, though, I have to correct Blake on something. He said that we didn't fight as adults. I want to say that that's incorrect, as I believe all season long this show has been dubbed as the two freaking boxing matches that are going to take place at whether it's Grey Cup, the Combine, whatever it may be, between Shane and Coach, and apparently Blake and I are scrapping as well.
To be fair, it won't be much of a boxing match between me and Coach.
So I do want to.
This will be more of a sparring. This will be just more of a beat up against Coach. So
because Blake said that we did not fight as adults, that would be wrong because Shane
controlled and Coach fighting is fine.
Okay, I agree with that. Let's get into picks, boys.
Yeah, let's get into it. First game, Winnipeg, Montreal. I'm gonna go Winnipeg. The team seems to be getting hot. I love a little bit of chaos that a Winnipeg win will provide. Yes, time out, boy.
Yeah. Two things here. I guess first, I wanted to get to it earlier, but shout out to Coach number one. Definitely thinking about him. I know it's Jasmine's birthday today, so I know it's a tough time for him. I did see that, Blake, you did mention about Coach send your picks in the chat. Or we give Coach an
same timeline, 12 p.m.
timeline?
Pacific. Same timeline, 12 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah, okay, what do you mean? That's what I got. So it's only fair that's what Coach gets.
Come on.
He's missing his excuse, his reason. He's missing because of football practice.
Yeah, but what if he's busy after football practice dealing with maybe they're.
You can take the 3 minutes.
Then he gets an offer.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
So
if he
I think it's fair. Tomorrow's the first game. I'm not waiting until I have a graphic to drop. I'm not waiting until friggin' 5 p.m. to drop a graphic.
Hey, I was just
the game's at 4:30 tomorrow, so I think the game would already
4:30 your time. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But so you're going Winnipeg, yes, Shane?
I'm going Winnipeg.
Cole?
Yeah, I feel like this will be a clean sweep.
Do you want to elaborate on that, or do you want me to give my pick?
Montreal is starting their 4th-string quarterback, and I think that's all we need to say.
I mean, as
bad as Winnipeg has looked in the last few weeks, I feel like it comes down to you said that Zach Coast has been full all week, Blake?
Yeah.
it appears that they're getting Zach Collaros back. As bad as he's looked, I feel like even as
Well, he
if
played
you
last week too, but he played banged up. But
Yeah,
sorry, yes.
it's supposed to. He
Um,
looked better this practice, is what I heard.
so
if you plays as bad as possible, I feel like it's like you're playing against a four-string quarterback. No offense to James Morgan, Cameron Dukes, whoever it may be, but it's a situation too. Like the both guys like got signed off the couch. They're into new schemes, new playbooks. It's like it's a tough ass. So it's like Winnipeg should win this game, especially with what Shane said, right? Like they're at 5 wins too, I believe, right? Calgary's sitting in front of them with 6 wins. Saskatchewan, obviously, we know what the implications are coming up. Get this win, you set yourself up into hopefully a springboarding into yourself into after Labor Day.
yeah, I'm gonna go with the Blue Bombers as well. Like I agree with pretty much everything Cole said. Like they're on their fourth string quarterback. Like Morgan looked good, but respectfully, he's the fourth string guy for a reason. Mac is not playing, Philpott's not playing, Duclaw is not playing. Like there's a bunch of names. Letcher, I believe, still not playing. They're just the Alouettes are too banged up right now. Like we said earlier in the show, it's a good thing they're in the East because like they still, after all this, might get a home playoff game, but until Davis Alexander comes back, like I don't think it matters when Philpott, Mac, Duclaw return. The season's only going to turn back around for the Alouettes when Davis Alexander returns. And
Yeah,
he is fully healthy. I will put that as well. He has to be fully healthy as well because clearly in the Toronto game he wasn't. And even though they won, he had to go on the sixth game afterwards. So
yeah. So I think we're all a clean sweep there. Friday Night Lights in Ottawa. The Edmonton Elks visit Ottawa. I'm gonna let you guys go here because I
No,
really
Shane,
go.
go first.
Nope, nope. You guys get to go. You guys get to go first.
Cole, I want to go first for this one. Um, I'm gonna go with the Elks again. They proved me right last week. The Red Blacks did me dirty. Like I thought they were gonna get me a win when they came back, and then Tommy Condell did Tommy Condell things. Drew Brown is also not playing in this game again, which like I feel like the Red Blacks season would be a lot different if Drew Brown was healthy for a lot of it too. He's been kind of healthy for a game, maybe 2 games, injured for two, same thing for the first like 9 or 10 games, and that's unfortunate. But Dustin Crum looked okay last week when he came in, but like with all due respect to you, Shane, he's Dustin Crum. So I just think that the Elks are gonna win their third in a row, and the West sneakily, like all 5 teams might be in a dog fight for 4 spots at the end of the year. Because if the Elks do win this game, that's their third win in a row, and they're up to 4 wins on the year. Like it's not out of the question that they make the playoffs.
Yeah, somehow they're not dead, which is unbelievable. I can't tell you guys how frustrated I am, as Blake is well aware, as you've basically been with me since I started kind of getting back into the CFL, doing content with the Twitter Spaces and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I got on to the Edmonton Elks train super early, as you guys know, with Trey Ford, kind of the whole like wanting to get behind a Canadian quarterback. And at every turn, I get on their bandwagon, I start to talk about the Elks. They absolutely shaft me, make me look like an absolute idiot. And then as soon as I pick against them, they make me look like an absolute even bigger idiot because then they start winning. And that happened last week when I pick against them and they shaft me again when Ottawa should have won. So I don't know who to pick. I'm gonna pick Edmonton, but if they do me wrong again, they lose to Dustin Crum. I will never. You guys can clip this, do whatever you want. I will never pick Edmonton for the rest of the season.
For the
Okay.
rest of the season. I thought you were gonna say forever.
No, I couldn't. I couldn't do that for the rest of the season. I'm picking Edmonton tonight, or excuse me, for this week. If I pick them and they lose, never again this season. I will take an L willingly if they're playing freaking the BC Lions fifth string quarterback. I'm still picking against them if they do me dirty this week. I'm so fed up with their shit. It's been literally 3 years that I'm like, oh man, let's get on the board. Let's get on the board. Like, let's get on the train here. Edmonton's gonna be good. Nope, shit. I jump off the board. I start picking against them. They go on these winning streaks. I'm like, what the hell?
Shane, tell us why you're picking Ottawa.
If you want, hey, before we continue, I just want to go through the records. Blake is now first at 27-16. Cole is 25-18, and you have a friend there at second because you went 1-3 last week.
25 and 18.
You're 25-18. You were 24-15 going into last week. You went 1-3.
Oh, Shane or Blake's 20. Okay, my math wasn't math in there.
Coach is now tied with Cole at 25-18 after going 3-1, and then I am at 23-20 after going 2-2. So, Blake is now in first. We got a tie for second, and then I'm still in the basement. Red Blacks have dogged me this year.
So why are you picking them again? Let's go.
Man, I am so torn on this game.
Shane, that's probably not good then. That's probably not good then. You're torn because you're a fan. You know that you want to pick Edmonton.
I want to pick Edmonton. I have Edmonton actually listed. Like I have Edmonton in that slot.
But
you feel the same way though. You don't want to because it's like
I have troubles trusting Edmonton.
Yes, Edmonton because they're the Edmonton Elks.
Like
yeah.
I have troubles trusting Edmonton, but I have troubles trusting Ottawa. So this one's very tough because I'm like Cody Fajardo could play great. I don't think it's Dustin Crum that's really throwing it for me because I'm like that like he can make magic happen with his legs. Like he'll be able to run, he'll be able to get out of the pocket, he'll be able to make some stuff happen with his legs. But I don't think he can throw the ball to win this game. Like it's going to be like a special teams or like the defenses need to going to win this game for Ottawa. I'm going to go Edmonton here, but I feel like it's I think this is like under a touchdown type game, and I think it's going to be a low scoring game.
Very tentatively, he's picking Edmonton.
I want to say again, the facts over feelings. Factually, Edmonton has been a more complete team than Ottawa. They've gotten off to better starts. They've been more consistent offensively over the last couple of weeks. If they can get Ottawa in a hole early, which is a very, very strong possibility, it's Edmonton. And that's what I'm going off of.
Fair enough. Saturday, noon our time, 3:00 your time, Shane.
For the Saturday game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lions and Argos.
BC and Argos. It is a CNE game for Toronto, so expect hopefully a pretty busy crowd.
I believe they've sold over 20,000 already. But
yeah. I'm gonna go BC again. I think the team's getting hot. They're looking at how the West is shaking up. They have a prime opportunity over the next 4 weeks to really gain momentum on Saskatchewan. So I'm gonna go BC on this one. What are you guys gonna go with? I'm assuming BC. Let's be real. But give me your reasons why you're going BC.
Cole, you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You can go first, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the BC Lions. I would agree with you, Shane. I think the Lions offense, especially, is turning a corner. Hatch, McInnes, Berryhill, Eberhardt, like that's the 4 of the 5 Lions starting receivers. And then you throw in Javon Katoy, who is arguably, like, even though the CFL doesn't have tight ends technically, like arguably the best tight end in the CFL, and he's hardly touched the ball this year. And it's just like I think that offense is getting into their rhythm finally. I think slowly I'm starting to have a bit more confidence than Cole. That defense is turning a corner a little bit. Last week as well, they had a couple of plays where they should have had interceptions. They had one called off as well by our boy Christophe Beaulieu. And I would think that this game's not going to be really close. I think even though the Argos offense can put up points, as we've seen in the last 2-3 weeks, the Argos just have a tendency of shooting themselves in the foot when the game gets close. So even if it is close, I'm going with the BC Lions.
I too will take the BC Lions. I feel like they just need to take care of business this next month of the season and kind of, I guess, legitimize themselves, but also kind of like prove to themselves so they can like stack a good, you know, 4 to 6 weeks together. As I talked about earlier, like they just I feel like got in the way too often of like when they had opportunities to win back-to-back games, they would always just get in the way, end up losing close games. Games that like after you watch the game, I know opposed to I believe the Winnipeg blowout in week 2, most of those games where you look back and like it comes down to like 4 or 5 plays that the Lions like kind of shoot themselves in the foot, aren't able to execute whatever may be the turnovers that end up coming to cost them. And now this is the time where the West is going to start to beat up on each other, where they're going to start to play each other. And you have, as we talked about earlier, a very East heavy schedule. Blake and I talked about it, I think, the last time you joined me on post game, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. But like this is the time for you to go on a run to get the hottest that you can, and post Labor Day, start to play your best football at that point. Hopefully they're able to. As Blake said, he's maybe a little bit more confident in the defense. But it's just all about kind of I feel like timing as well, right? And like complementary football. If your offense is playing lights out in the first half, just like get a few stops in the second half. I feel like too many times like we've seen them and they like absolutely put together like no shows in the second half, or they put together 2 quarters and then they can't put together full games. So for me, I feel like it comes down to the defense because I feel like Nathan Work's going to Nathan Work. He's going to be able to find a way to get them into scoring position, put up points. Whitey's now hopefully starting a new streak. As I saw, Blake got his number 10 jersey in. We still haven't.
Did.
Have we seen it on the show
We
yet?
haven't seen it on here yet.
We
What the
have it
hell are you doing?
next week, I promise.
Mr. Automatic. I see in the
Next
snap,
week,
and this
I'll
guy
wear
does
it.
not wear it. Sean
I'll wear it
White.
next week.
Heck, where would we be this season without that guy? But yeah, I agree with Blake. Like this is the time, and I hopefully that the Lions are able to win. This is a big one to like. This is 3 in a row, right, Blake? Yeah, 3 in a row.
Yeah,
Hamilton,
3 in a row.
Montreal, Toronto. Then you get Ottawa with a back-to-back home and home, but I believe there's a bye in there as we play Ottawa. I think we go into a bye, then we host
No,
Ottawa.
it's bye and then home and home.
It's Labor Day bye, and then it's back-to-back against Ottawa, and then Calgary.
Excuse me. But like be selfish. Like let's go undefeated here in the last like month. Like don't be like, oh, let's get a split. Like stack wins, as Shane said, like Saskatchewan maybe isn't more so in my scope right now. I'd more so like say like Winnipeg, Calgary kind of in the crosshairs more so than Saskatchewan. I feel like we all kind of believe that like Saskatchewan set themselves apart far enough right now that that's kind of not, as I said, in my sights. Where Calgary's right there. Calgary's 6-win team, correct? Am I tripping right now?
6-3.
Yeah. So it's like
they're 4-0 against the division though.
Yeah,
but 3-0 of that is against the Blue Bombers.
That's still like it's a good thing for them, as we're not though, right, Blake? That's what's gonna also hurt us down the stretch, right? Is like
4.
Yeah, well that's the fucking shitty thing about losing some of those games early in the season is if we are playing like as a better team or we are the better team down the stretch here, if we are tied in records and we lose because of a goddamn tiebreaker, it's gonna be kind of a piss off because as we know, we want to play on a clean track. We want to be in BC Place. We do not want to go to the Prairies. We do not want to play in Winnipeg. We do not want to play in Calgary or Saskatchewan in the playoffs. So
here's the thing that helps BC. Both Winnipeg and BC have 4 games left against the East, against the West.
Yeah.
Every other team has 6.
That's what I mean. They're going to beat up on each other. So
like
beat up on each other all you want. Hopefully, I'm actually going to rewind that. Hopefully the Lions are able to go on a run as teams are starting to kind of fall off. As like Calgary and Saskatchewan, right? They started the season super hot. Percentages, one of them are probably going to slow down just based on how fast they started the season. So this is the time of the year. I hated to say it probably 2 years ago, like football doesn't matter till after Labor Day, but this is when you want to get hot.
Yeah, so quickly, the last game. Sorry, gentlemen, I got to run a couple minutes early, but the last game, Calgary and Saskatchewan, I'm going to go with the Rough Riders. I just think that they're 8-1 for a reason. That defense proved it last week with how they played against Bo Levi Mitchell, and they're going to be pissed after what Calgary did to them the first time. I know that wasn't like the most fluid situation with the smoke and having to delay the game a day and the stuff like that, but I think the Riders are going to go into Calgary. They're going to be 9-1, and yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Blake, lastly, what the hell happened to your Langley Rams? But you can get out of here. I just wanted to
Oh,
throw that in there.
that is, yeah, they're, I know our boy, or I don't know if we even want to call him our boy, the Wiz, says they're done. I'm not convinced on that. Like, I think PG's a better team than they've shown. They played Okie tight. They played West Shore tight. The Rams had a really bad game. I heard, uh, I don't know if you know this for sure. I heard the coach got tossed, but it's just that's like you and I've said it for years too. PG is a tough place to play, and if they could just have a good team, that stadium would be almost impossible. It looks like they have that good team this year.
Yeah, they lost their Plana Hooper, starting quarterback for the Langley Rams, went down in the first quarter. Went kind of played a pretty big part into it as well. But anyways, Blake, I just wanted to throw that in there as I can't brag too much as the Raiders are coming off a loss as well. So I just wanted to throw it in
So,
there, buddy. We'll see you next weekend, I'm sure.
sounds
That was
good. So
that was the Rough Riders, right? Just to make sure.
yeah, that was the Rough Riders.
No,
Cool.
he can
All
take
right.
the other team. No, he can take the other team.
All right,
All
boys.
right,
We'll
We'll
I'll
just
see you
see you
next
guys
week.
next week. Have a good
let
one.
him leave. Let him leave, and we'll pick the other team for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Let him leave. Let him leave. Let him leave. Just kidding. I
um,
feel like we're going the Riders here, or what?
yeah, I'm going Riders.
Yeah, I feel like
I
Coach
think
leaves as well.
it's pretty clear on where Calgary is versus where
I
Saskatchewan
think
is.
it'll be.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
I think
For
it'll be
the
a good game
plot,
though.
it should be a good game. I think it's going to
Yeah.
be a tight game.
Yeah.
But for the plot, I would love for Calgary to win. I'm gonna be very honest. For the plot, I think it would create some excitement heading into Labor Day.
Yeah.
Especially if Winnipeg can't. We talked about it earlier. Especially if Winnipeg can beat Montreal. I think if in BC beating Toronto, I think if Calgary beats Saskatchewan, it creates some excitement going into Labor Day. So for the plot of the playoff push, I would love to see a Calgary win, but I think Saskatchewan is the overall better team, and they'll come out with the win.
Yeah, I kind of agree with basically what you said there, Shane. Of like, I think this is going to be a super close game, a super exciting game. Hopefully, we don't get any weather delay implications or anything that play into this one. We get to see both teams on the field when they're scheduled to kick off. I just think, as you said, right, not to discredit Calgary at all, but I feel like Saskatchewan's going to be very motivated to get this one, to continue to sit atop the Western Division, and this is a very key game for them, right? Like as we said, right, they only play twice, Calgary and Saskatchewan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they
so like
play this week, and then I believe they play. Where is
well,
it?
they already
They play
played,
late. Oh, I think they play later in this season. Where
did
was
they?
it? Where did it go? I totally saw it and I can't find it. But yeah, I think they play later in this season.
Okay, but still, this is a super big one, and I think Saskatchewan, as you said, just playing a little bit better as the better team right now. I feel like Calgary's still missing some of their guys, right? Alfred's not back quite yet. I know Philpott got back into the lineup.
Oh no, they played each other week 6,
So
and
this is
Calgary
the
won.
last meeting, correct? Right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So this is a big one for Saskatchewan. I think they're going to be motivated to play, motivated to get that win, and I think this is going to be one that they probably win in a close one, right? Maybe it's a 10 point score at the end where maybe the score doesn't quite indicate how close the game was. Or maybe, maybe Brett Lawler hits a game winner, right? Where he's got some pressure in, right? I believe they signed a kicker, was it today or
yep,
yesterday? Where, there's guys in here that are gonna maybe try to take his job if he's unable to put the ball between the uprights. So maybe it comes down to something like that, right? Where Lawler comes out for a game winner, because I feel like these are the class of, what did we say, the CFL, not even the West probably right now.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, moving on from the CFL, quick roundup of the CJFL for games this week. If you guys haven't been paying attention to it, the BCFC is into week 6. The OFC is heading into week 3, and the PFC is heading into OFC is heading into week 4. PFC is heading into week 3. Exciting games last week. Your Raiders kind of got demolished. But don't worry, my Sooners. Oh my God, the Sooners are, whew, got trounced 15-0 by St. Clair.
No,
The OFC looks like it's going to be going back between
St. Clair.
London and St. Clair. Those two teams are the top of the OFC right now. London's 3-0, St. Clair's 2-0. I expect St. Clair to move to 3-0 this week with another win over the Sooners. But action starts Saturday. 6 games on the docket in total. 3 in the OFC and 3 in the BCFC. You got the Hurricanes going to the Cougars, who are off to a great start in their inaugural season. The Quinte Skyhawks, who only have one point scored in 2 games so far this year, going against the GTA Grizzlies, who only have 7 points scored so far this year. The Ottawa Sooners going to St. Clair Skates, who only have 6 points. So the top of the OFC is heavy. The bottom 3 teams, I think, have a combined like 14 points. Yeah, it's rough. The Prince George Kodiaks are heading over to Kamloops, and they also announced a partnership with a
University,
university out northern BC. Another CGFL program partnering with the college to create that student athlete dynamic, which is fantastic.
Very cool.
And then you got the Okanagan Sun going to the Valley Huskers, who got their first win last week against the Broncos, and your Vancouver Island Raiders going up against West Shore,
back to back.
Should be a pretty good game. Hopefully, it's better than last week.
Yeah, that was frustrating, Shane. I don't know if you watched it at all, buddy, but
I did not.
The Raiders. Let's put it this way: there was 21 points scored by the West Rebels defense and special teams.
Yeah. I mean the box score did not look good. 25-11 last week for West Shore. And then Sunday, there's 3 games. It's the PFC. You have the Edmonton Huskies going to the Regina Thunder, who are number 1 right now in the PFC due to point differential. Winnipeg Rifles going into Saskatoon for a rematch of that Week 1 game. Rifles are currently second at 2-0. Hilltops are third at 1-1. And they got the Calgary Colts heading to Edmonton against the Wildcats to end the CGFL weekend. So CGFL is in full swing. We mentioned it earlier in the show. With U Sports is also in full swing. Catch Acadia going to St. Mary's on Friday, as well as Sherbrooke and McGill on Friday night. OUA action on Saturday. You got York at McMaster, Western at Queens, Toronto at Carleton, Ottawa at Waterloo, and Laurier at Guelph. I feel like the U Sports website just keeps messing up.
Yeah, I tend to.
Because they just added Concordia at Montreal at 2 p.m. And I guarantee you these games were not. I'm going to have to repost it because these games were not here when I made the graphics for it on Monday night. And Bishops at Mount Allison. I'm not going crazy. These games weren't posted. I swear to God. I've been looking at this for the last week and a half. So I'm going to have to go update this so if you saw our Instagram post, I will go update it for tomorrow. Swear to God, these games were not here when I was going through it yesterday.
I know the U Sports website has had some troubles in the past with stats and whatnot, so I wouldn't be surprised if scheduling and stuff like that, maybe some errors and stuff like that.
There's also today's game. If you're watching this now, Saskatchewan hosting UBC in a preseason matchup. This was not here when I made the graphic, so I apologize for those people who saw our Instagram page. I will update those graphics for tomorrow morning. If you're listening to this on Thursday, I have upgraded these graphics. If you're listening now, I will go update those. But yes, Saturday you have Concordia at Montreal against the Carabin, and then for AUS action, it's Bishop Gators going to Mount Allison to face off the Mounties. So that is your Canadian football wrap up. For anything non-CFL related, and then obviously NCAA is starting up in the next couple of weeks. CFL just dropped their summer or fall edition of the Central Scouting. And as we all know, that list is hot garbage because none of it matters.
Nope.
It's a good insight on who the prospects are, but the rankings mean nothing.
It definitely helps get an idea of maybe the top. Some of the names are going to be in like the top 40, right? Because as we know, not all the top 20 guys are going to go 1 through 20. Some guys fall. Some guys, have different situations. Maybe they go to NFL.
Some guys reclass.
Yep, some guys reclass, all that sort of stuff. But as you were saying, Shane, about all the great Canadian football that we have to watch on a weekly basis now, it is like drinking out of a fire hose. I feel like when it gets time to the weekend to like what games you're watching, trying to consume games afterwards, because obviously you only have so many hours in the day. So like obviously the last few weekends I've had to kind of like push watching the Lions game and stuff like that. So it's been interesting, but it's also been fun. As we were talking a little bit before we hit record tonight of like, right now it might be a little bit like some days you're like, man, like that was a long day, that was tiring. But come the off season, come like, January, February, March, maybe I guess like even like more so like February, March, April when things are really dead and it's like after free agency, it's not quite the draft yet. Combine season quite isn't there yet, where it's super dead. Where it's like, man, I really wish the season was here. I really wish I had the show every Wednesday night. I really wish like there was a game to watch on Thursday to Sunday. This is the time of year that we live for. So, as I said to start the show, Stan, super thankful, buddy, to be talking Canadian football on a weekly basis with the boys and to be watching Canadian football.
Yeah, and I mean, as much as we try to be Canadian focused, there will probably be some NFL content
Absolutely.
added into our weekly shows just because the NFL is on and there's Canadian players. So we'll probably, talk about that. But yeah, I mean, there's your Canadian football wrap up. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We'll be back here next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. You can also listen to the episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and watch the videos live on YouTube after they're live. You can rewatch them on YouTube. Remember to hit that like, subscribe, share button. Make sure you put on notifications so you never miss a live episode of the 13th Man Football CFL Weekly Show presented by Royal Retros. Enjoy. Have a great night. We'll catch you next week.